You're watching the Bloomberg Law Bankruptcy Review. I'm Lee Pacchia. I'm joined now, as always, by Bloomberg News bankruptcy columnist Bill Rochelle. Go check out his daily bankruptcy column, available on BloombergLaw.com, and it's also on the Bloomberg Terminal. We have two items to run through today. We're going to start off with a statistical report that just surprises the heck out of me, Bill. The cost for filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy year over year went down.
Yeah.
That's just shocking. How can that be?
Well, I was surprised too, but then you think about it. Supply and demand. You know, bankruptcy filings overall were down about 12% in 2011 compared with the year before. And guess what? Bankruptcy lawyers who run these bankruptcy mills had to lower their prices. Here are what the numbers are, according to a website called attorneysfee.com. As 2011 was ending, across the country, it would cost you roughly $1,800 to go through bankruptcy. Excuse me, by the way, that was at the end of 2010, not 2011, which just goes to show you that you can't be broke and be bankrupt because you got to pay the lawyer. A year later, by December, that price went down to a little bit more than $1,600. So you'd be saving more than $200 going bankrupt a year later. Interestingly, the city in which it's most expensive to be broke is Dallas and Houston. In those cities, at the end of the year, it would have cost you about $2,000. If, however, you were lucky enough to live in Atlanta, Georgia, the cost was only a little over $1,300, which means it was maybe half again as expensive to file bankruptcy in Dallas as it was in Atlanta. And by the way, that makes a little bit of sense because there are huge numbers of bankruptcy filings per capita in Georgia, which is probably because there are a lot of lawyers advertising and fighting for the business. So as a result, the price there is cheaper.
Not something you see every day. The cost of legal services, or at least one specific legal service, actually going down year over year instead of going up. We also have updates on the Kodak case. Bill, the projections for operating costs at Kodak were disclosed at the start of the case. I got to ask, is this company going to make it?
Darn fine question. Here are the raw numbers. Kodak, in the presentation to its banks, which it made public a couple of days ago, disclosed that they anticipate burning up $365 million over the first approximately 3 months of the case into the middle of April. That is a whole hell of a lot of cash and represents about, more than a third of the $950 million loan that they intend to use to finance the Chapter 11 case. Now, importantly, not that entire cash loss is from operations, maybe $160-odd million according to their projections. But still, as we used to say down home, that ain't hay. There was something else that happened in the case this week that was kind of surprising and unusual. In a press release, they announced that the financial advisor, Dominic DiNapoli from FTI Consulting, was no longer going to be the financial advisor. Instead, they're bringing in Jim Mesterharm from Alex Partners. This is unusual. This would be really as unusual as switching your lawyers a week into bankruptcy. This is something I can't think of happening in any other case. Needless to say, I've been trying to figure out how and why it happened. But just the fact that it did happen is very interesting. It was apparently not as a result of a discovered conflict, because I suspect if that were the case, they would have said so. In any event, this is a case where people can either make or lose a whole lot of money in buying the existing debt. The unsecured notes, for instance, lost about half of their value. They'd been trading above 60 before bankruptcy, and as I said, lost about half their value after bankruptcy. So there's a good deal of upside potential on those. Also, the second lien debt is trading somewhere, I guess, in the high 70s right now. So if you buy into that thinking it'll pay in full with interest again, you have an opportunity for making a fair amount of change. So this is a case, I suspect, where claims traders are going to have a wonderful time trying to anticipate what the assets are going to sell for and how much they can make on buying debt.
All right, Bill, thanks for that. That's Bloomberg News bankruptcy columnist Bill Rochelle. If you'd like to learn more about the cases or issues we just discussed, be sure to check out our offerings on BloombergLaw.com and also the Bloomberg Terminal. I'm Lee Pacchia. Thanks for watching.